I know a lot of you probably don't know who this is. But if your life was exciting enough to make a movie about it, then it was probably pretty good. And if you've ever heard of Be All That You Can Be, this is the gentleman who made it happen. He was my friend as well. This is Lieutenant Colonel Jim Channon. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Jim Channon was in charge of a Special Forces project in the 1980s that's classified. It's been declassified. That's why this manual is here now, years later, 40 years later. And with that being said, this was during the Star Wars Defense Program for Ronald Reagan. Star Wars Defense Program? And then the satellite that they stuck in space so they would shoot down nuclear missiles? Yes, that satellite defense program. And as you can see here, the perspective and the use of force, the international TV satellite system to influence planetary collective consciousness and world opinion, other alternatives to arms race. You mean what's going on TikTok right now? You mean people are becoming enlightened and aware, and not through public education in school, but interlinking satellite system that's going to make a collective consciousness like the web? Armies are no longer required. A look at the dream when humanity works with nature, paradise appears. You thought you were having a spiritual awakening and the government had nothing to do with it. That's like, you probably thought that the 60s and the hippies weren't created by Jerry Garcia working for the CIA, or the military facility on Laurel Canyon that Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and David Crosby and Stephen Stills and James Morrison and all of the other, Frank Zappa, etc., military personnel with military IDs that Jared Leto will discuss with you if you find his channel. By the way, you'll see here in the manual, thank you. This is from the 1980s. We're going to go here. You can see Delta Force. That's right. Delta Force Team. The Urantia Brotherhood. Yeah. So every one of you that think that you're onto something with William Cooper and Urantia, and you found something that nobody else knows about, surprise! The military has been making super soldiers since the 80s and getting ready to use the internet to reprogram a generation to do exactly what you're doing and say all the things you're saying. Everything you post, everything you talk about, they have been planning it and getting ready to set it up all along. And this book actually deprograms you from the public school in the 80s and 90s to get ready for it so that you could become this weapon for the military that my friend Jim Channon made. Now here in part 2, we'll go over some things. There was a movie made about his life with George Clooney, Ewan McGregor, and Jeff Bridges, who did a shout out on a video.